Now let's be totally honest. I know in car buying, there are a lot of criteria, performance, fuel economy, reliability, but hey, a lot of it has got to do with the looks. What's going on, guys? Roy Robles here from Zigwheels.Ph, and today we'll be reviewing two sides of the same coin in the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross and the Mitsubishi Xpander with the Mitsubishi Genuine Accessories package. Now, when I say that the Mitsubishi Xpander and the Xpander Cross are two sides of the same coin, it's because mechanically speaking, and generally with the exterior, they're pretty much the same car. It's just that with the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross, it's more aimed at a more rugged, outdoorsy group, while the Xpander is more of the family type. Having the Mitsubishi Genuine Accessories, it becomes a little bit more sporty, a little bit more stylish. It has a more angular looking exterior, especially with the front fascia. You can see the grille almost having this arrow-like features. You got that mesh grille in front. Then you got this front aero dam right below the chin right here. In contrast, the Xpander Cross front fascia has a more muscular looking front fascia to it, a squarish grille. The headlamps looks a little bit more different, especially with the Xpander. The Xpander has those chrome accents around the headlamp, and again, it's shaped a little bit more different with the Xpander Cross. So both the Xpander Cross have DRLs, LED DRLs on top. You get LED headlamps on the front and halogen fog lamps. Also, the Xpander Cross without the front aero dam would also have 225 millimeters of ground clearance, which is the same as the Xpander Cross. So gone are the days where the Xpander Cross was actually higher than the vanilla Xpander. Overall, the front fascia does feature a lot of differences, but if you ask me, I would prefer this one right here with the Mitsubishi Xpander with the appearance package. It looks a little bit more sleek, more sporty compared to the more outdoorsy, more SUV-like Xpander Cross. I would probably leave out the Xpander badge, but that kind of lops off $4,500 off of the price. Later on, I'll be discussing how much exactly this entire appearance package would be, so you can give you a better idea on which one to pick. Now, right here in the side profile of the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross, here's exactly what I was talking about when it comes to ground clearance. You can actually see the 225 millimeters of ground clearance at work right here on the side, while right there on the Xpander with the appearance package, it kind of gets a little bit reduced because of the side skirts that we got right there. Don't get me wrong, it looks really sleek. In fact, I prefer the look of the side skirts here instead of the black plastic cladding that we have around on the Xpander Cross one. But the reason why I'm picking the Xpander Cross over the Xpander with the appearance package are those wheels. Those 17-inch alloy wheels are one of the better looking, if not the best looking OEM mags that I have seen in quite a while. I mean, look at the design of that. It's got a two-tone look to it. It's got an interesting pattern instead of the turbine looking one on the regular Xpander. I would probably go as far as saying I would take these wheels and put it on the Xpander myself. Meaning those look really good. I mean, you also have these two-tone look to it. It's got a blacked out roof, giving it a sleeker design as well, and as well as a roof rail on top. All in all, I would say that I love how the Xpander looks on the side without the black plastic cladding, but because of those wheels, the Xpander Cross gets this vote. Now, when the Mitsubishi Xpander was refreshed a while back, one of the best features that it implemented are these LED tail lamps. I mean, look at it. It looks really sleek, especially with these slats on top. It kind of gives you a sporty appeal, especially in the MPV segment. Now, when you compare the Mitsubishi Xpander and the Xpander Cross without this package, this kind of looks a little boring, a little tame. Especially with the scuff plates that you have in the Xpander Cross. But again, with the appearance package, it just puts it up to 11. I mean, you've got this nice looking rear air dam here with this interesting looking rear diffuser. It looks really aggressive. I doubt what kind of benefits it has when it comes to aerodynamics, but at least it looks great, especially when going down the road. Plus, you've got this huge wing on top, which the Xpander Cross kinda has, but it's not as good looking as this one on top. So in this case right here, the Xpander with the appearance package will definitely get my vote as well. It just looks more modern. It looks sportier. It's not supposed to be sporty though. It's a family MPV, but because of the appearance package, it really elevates the look, especially with how it goes right here. Just goes to show you that if you go the OEM route with trying to modify your cars, they really know how to do it, and they do it quite right. All right, so we're inside the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross. Now, if you're looking for Mitsubishi genuine accessories in the appearance package on the regular Xpander, you won't find any. So if you're expecting rally art floor mats, you won't find it right there. But although the Xpander Cross and the Xpander have similar looking interiors, the execution between this and that model can't be more different. For example, in the Xpander Cross, you have this leather material, and Mitsubishi is proud of the fact that it actually has some leather, well, should I say heat-resistant material to it. Now, the press model that we have right now has no tint to it. We're kind of doubtful about that because leaving this outside just for a few minutes, it can get really hot inside. But to their benefit, it actually gets a little cooler faster than your usual leather material. So I guess it works, but it still gets hot under the sun. Now, you on the GLS with the appearance package, you don't get the leather material. You do have fabric seats, but the fabric seats are pretty soft. They're really plush, and they retain heat a lot less than your leather material that's inside. Going back to the leather material, you do find that right here on the dashboard of the Xpander Cross as well, and you find it here on the door cards as well as the outboard armrest and the inboard armrest. They also have this nice navy blue color to it that adds a little bit more premium feel to it, as well as a little bit more sportiness. And I like the look. I mean, you don't usually see this particular tinge of color to the interior of a lot of cars, let alone MPVs. So it's pretty nice to see it right here. A few more changes that we find inside the Xpander Cross are more driver-centric. The gauge clusters, you get a completely digital gauge cluster right here in front, as opposed to the analog gauge clusters that you find on the vanilla Xpander. This actually reminds me a lot of the Montero Sport gauge cluster, and they slapped it right here on the Xpander Cross. Speaking of Montero Sport, the steering wheel from the Montero Sport has also been lifted and put right here. It's nice and chunky. It's a 4-spoke steering wheel. Gives you a lot of confidence while driving. And this is also adjustable for both reach and brake. So achieving your optimum driving position is easy in this one, especially with the manual operated seats here. You got a lot of buttons right here on the Xpander Cross. You got your media buttons and your call buttons, as well as cruise control. But that's not to say that the Xpander doesn't have its charm, because I love how the 3-spoke steering wheel on the Xpander looks like. Kind of reminds me a lot of the old Lancer Rally Art, the Evo steering wheel. It's not exactly the same, but it gives you the same vibe to it. Now, for the passenger, you don't get any, aside from the leather, everything stays the same. The touchscreen infotainment system, the 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system with both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, the 6-speaker setup, the AC with the, well, this is not an automatic climate control, but at least it's perfectly fine and usable for what you need it to be. And USB ports in the back. You got a USB-A and a USB-C port, so it's pretty future-proof. If you got a modern smartphone, you can plug it in right there. And in the third row seats, if you remember our old reviews of the Mitsubishi Xpander and Xpander Cross, they're pretty spacious, if you ask me. But it's not really gonna be. That's not gonna be the place where I put myself into. But it is pretty spacious than most. And I like how you actually have a power socket right there to charge your items as well. Now, even if you have the third row seats put up, you still have a lot of space for all your cargo to put in. And that's what the Xpander and Xpander Cross is really all about. I mean, sure, you get the look of having a sporty MPV and a small SUV, but it's about the functionality and the practicality of bringing something that can bring 7 people and all their luggage in. So yeah, overall, the interior amenities, the interior game between the Xpander and Xpander Cross aren't really that far off. They're still very useful, pretty straightforward, very Mitsubishi, I might add, that they put all these things in, and just make sure that everything is different enough to differentiate itself from each other. So we're behind the wheel of the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross. So this is pretty much the same as the Mitsubishi Xpander. You've got the same 1.5 liter dual overhead cam gasoline engine that makes around 114 horsepower and 142 Newton meters of torque. It's mated to an admittedly ancient 4-speed automatic transmission. I wish that the Xpander and Xpander Cross had a CVT transmission, or at least had a 5 or 6-speed automatic, but in any case, the 4-speed is perfectly serviceable. If you want to get a full details about our driving impression, check out our videos. They're going to be in the description box below. We did a full review of both the Xpander and Xpander Cross. So when it comes to driving impression, they're pretty much the same, but the Xpander Cross has a little bit of ace up its sleeve compared to the regular Xpander. So Mitsubishi claims that the Xpander Cross has active yaw control. For you Mitsubishi fans out there, it's pretty much an active stability control system that you can find in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. The principle is the same, but you don't get the exact same mechanicals in the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross. You're not going to find any LSDs or active yaw control system from the Evolution right here in the Xpander Cross. They're just putting in the same principle of reducing body roll, reducing your turn-in radius whenever during hard cornering in the Xpander Cross, adding a little bit more safety to that. In fact, we've tested a little bit between the cornering of the Xpander and the Xpander Cross, and here are our results. As you can see there, the Xpander Cross was actually doing a lot better during hard cornering. We actually had to switch between the two cars to make sure that we're not dreaming, we're not thinking this up, making this up. But apparently, during hard cornering, it's going to be hard for us, or for me personally, to do the hard cornering without braking. But in the Xpander Cross, I'm confident enough to do that hard cornering without the braking, so it's easier. So it's definitely going to be more stable, a tighter control over your body roll with the Xpander Cross, thanks to the active yaw control system. Also, Mitsubishi is proud of the fact that the suspension system in the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross is the same. It's pretty much the same in the rear as the Mitsubishi Montero Sport. Now what that does is that it adds a little bit more ruggedness, a little bit more heft, especially if you're taking your Xpander Cross off-roading. Well, not really hardcore off-roading, but taking the Xpander Cross off the beaten path. The difference between this and the Xpander, in my opinion, is very minimal, but at least you know that it's there. It's not just some... Mitsubishi doesn't kid or joke about technical specifications. If they say that this particular part is there, it's there. And we tried it and tested it. We believe them. Now you guys are still wanting to know about fuel economy. In the city, despite having a 4-speed automatic transmission and heavy traffic, we were still able to get a very respectable 8 kilometers per liter in the city for both cars. Now, because of the 4-speed automatic, its highway fuel economy is kind of put down a little bit. Because of the lack of 5th gear or 6th gear, it was able to get around 14 to 15 kilometers per liter on the highway, and that's if you drive it a little gingerly. Realistically speaking, 13 and 14, that's your sweet spot whenever you go on the highway. Safety for the Xpander and Xpander Cross are the same. You got dual airbags, ABS with the electronic brake force distribution, you got stability control, that's electronic stability control for you guys, and you got hill start assist, and yeah, it's pretty basic. The Xpander is really about having the basic amenities, giving you all the things that you need at an affordable price point. Now, one thing that the Xpander Cross does have, though, above the Mitsubishi Xpander, is the active yaw control that we talked about earlier. You also get a backup camera with backup sensors. So yeah, everything that you need when it comes to safety features, you'll have it right here on both the Xpander and the Xpander Cross. So here comes the interesting part. Let's talk about pricing. The Xpander Cross, as tested, starts at 1,328,000 pesos, while the Mitsubishi Xpander GLS starts at 1,198,000 pesos. Now, if you want to get the full package of the Mitsubishi Genuine Accessories list, you're going to spend 1,308,000 pesos, which is still about 20,000 pesos more affordable than the Xpander Cross. But you have to keep in mind, though, what are the things that you're losing, and what are you trading off if you do get the complete full fat version of the Xpander over the Xpander Cross? First of all, you lose the active yaw control. You actually lose a few millimeters or a few inches worth of ground clearance, and you don't get the same SUV suspension as the Xpander Cross has. There's rear suspension that was taken off of the Montero Sport. But at the end of the day, it really is all about the looks, isn't it? I mean, you're buying an Xpander Cross not to be the sportiest, that to be the most rugged. I mean, if you want to get a rugged crossover or rugged SUV, you might as well spring for the Mitsubishi Montero Sport. But if you're in the market for something like an Xpander Cross that can seat 7 people, have just the right amount of power, has great fuel economy, the Xpander with the Mitsubishi Genuine Accessories package might just be the perfect one for you guys. I mean, personally speaking, I'd choose the look of the Xpander over this one, but when it comes to performance, you're really not going to be left behind or really left wanting more. So apart from the very obvious cosmetic differences between the Xpander with the Mitsubishi Genuine Accessories package and the Xpander Cross, and the supposed differences between this one having active yaw control and the improved suspension bounce rate that kind of mimics the Mitsubishi Montero Sports, they're basically the same vehicle. You still have the Xpander, good old Xpander, that seats 7, great fuel economy for both, good ground clearance despite this one having the appearance package. So at the end of the day, we beg to ask, which Xpander really is the best Xpander for you? Well, for me personally, I would choose this one right here. I like how sleek and sporty and aggressive it looks, but this one also isn't without its charms. People who go outdoors, kind of the outdoorsy type, the adventurous type, would choose the Xpander Cross, but I want to know what you think. So drop me a comment in the comment section down below. Which one would you choose? The Xpander with the appearance package or the Xpander Cross? And while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos. We appreciate all the engagements, all the likes, all the subscriptions that you guys have. It really inspires us to do a lot more in the channel, so go ahead and do so. Thank you so much. Once again, this is Roy Robles from Zigwheels.Ph. I will see you guys next time.